Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. I hope you are doing great today. Now in today's lesson, we're going to look at an important topic known as row limiting clause in a query. Now this clause makes use of what is known as the fetch clause. So for us to better understand this clause, I want us to take a look at the query on our screen. Okay, so I want to execute this query first. It says select employee ID, first name from employees, order by employee ID. So let me execute this query and let's see the query output. Okay, so now we have our query output. Now to further help us understand this lesson, I want us to first right click, okay, and say count rows. You can see we have 107 rows. So I would right click again and then export this. I want to export this to Excel, okay, so we can properly understand this lecture. And then I'll come to this format here and choose Excel 2003 plus, and then name the file as test.xlsx, okay, and then say next and finish. Okay, so the next thing we want to do is to go to the file location and then open the Excel sheet. Okay, so we have our Excel sheet here. Okay, then let's count. We also have 107 rows, okay, because I deleted the very first column heading. So we have 107 rows as we have on the SQL developer. So let's go back to our SQL developer and then let's introduce the fetch clause and see how it works. Now I have this query on our screen. It says select employee ID, first name from employees, order by employee ID, fetch first 5 rows only. Are you seeing it? Fetch first 5 rows only. So the result will be the first 5 rows. So if I execute this query, you'll see that we have Stephen, Nina, Lex, Alexandra, and Bruce. Let's go to our Excel sheet and compare the output. So the first 5 rows are Stephen, Nina, Lex, Alexandra, and Bruce, who has the ID 104, which is our last record. And then also you can see that the last record is Bruce with employee ID 104. So are you seeing how the fetch clause works? Okay, so let's execute another example and see how it goes. So this query says select employee ID, first name from employees, order by employee ID, fetch first 50% rows only. What this query will do will be to fetch the 50% of the rows beginning from the first name. Remember, when we tried to count the rows, it was 107. So 50% of that should be somewhere around 53 point something. So the database is going to round up the number to mean 54, the first 54. So we'll execute this query and then we'll see what the output is like. So you can see if I right click and then say count rows, I have 54 rows already. Let's look at the very last name. Christopher is the last name, which is the 54th person. So if we go to our Excel sheet and then see the 54th person, we have Christopher. So are you seeing how this works? Well, let's do one more example and then see how it goes. Okay, so let's look at this query. In this query, we are saying select employee ID, first name from employees, order by employee ID. And then we are saying offset 5 rows, fetch next 5 rows only. If we execute this query, what we will get as query output will be this. Now, the first 5 rows will be ignored, and then it will display from the next 5 rows. So let's execute this query and see the output. Where did it start from? Employee ID 105, and then we have David as the first name, Valley, Diana, Nancy, and Daniel. So let's compare it with our Excel sheet and see what happens. So we are offsetting the first 5, okay, which is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So our output started from David, Valley, Diana, Nancy, and Daniel. So are you seeing how this query works? Now let's look at one very important example again. For this example, I'm going to run this query, and then we can see that the salary columns have 24,000, 17,000, 17,000 for Steven, Nina, and Lex. Okay, now we actually sorted the salary column in descending order. But then let's assume that we want to fetch only the first 2 rows. Okay, so let's rewrite this query to mean fetch first 2 rows only. If you do that, what will happen? It means we're having just Steven and Nina. But in our first query, we had 2 persons actually having the same salary, 17,000. Okay? Let's go back to what our previous query was. And then let's execute it again so we understand better. Now we have Steven, we have Nina, we have Lex. Nina and Lex both have salaries of 17,000. So if you say fetch first 2 rows only, it means Lex will not be selected. It will be just Steven and Nina. And that would be more like an injustice to Lex. So how do we solve this problem? How do we solve this problem? We can solve this problem by simply introducing a clause known as with ties. We can solve this problem by simply introducing a clause known as with ties. So if I say fetch first 2 rows with ties and execute this statement, the result will be that Steven, Nina, and Lex will be selected because Nina and Lex have the same salary. So I hope this video was clear enough. I hope it was interesting to you. If it was, kindly like it and share it widely. And if you've not subscribed to this channel, kindly subscribe to this channel and turn on the notification bell icon so you don't miss out whenever I upload a new video. Bye for now.